I think there's a progression of like client acquisition, right? And I think that jumping forward to a thing, because one of my favorite quotes in marketing is from Gary Bencivenga. He says, "I tell marketers again and again, a gifted offer beats a gifted pen." Okay, so everybody feels like there's a structure, or they feel like there's a script, or they feel like there's a perfect VSL model. The thing that makes a VSL or a webinar or a script work is when the conversation is so specific and valuable to the person that they're like, dude, you're doing everything I need, which leads to the conclusion. If you can engineer a conversation to where the person is like, it's almost like you're in my head. You're saying all the things that I deal with on a daily basis, and you're solving them before I even ask the question. How do you do that? You got to know them. How do you get to know them? You got to talk to them, right? So for me, the progression of getting clients and growing your agency is, number one, doing due diligence and research. Right? Due diligence, research. If you're talking to roofers, I'll go to a roofer's office, say, hey, I'm looking to start a business, and I'm wondering if I can take you to lunch and pick your brain about growing your business, about your marketing agency. And they just go and pick their brain. They'll probably be like, hey, dude, I'll work with you. You seem eager. Let's go. Right? But go and understand them. Then create your offer. Okay. Then do either what Alex Machuca did. And I've got a video of him talk. I think actually just maybe, if it hasn't released yet, then it was like a week ago, where he talked about his DM cold strategy, like how to cold DM people. That was one. Or two, do what Nick Robbins did, where he does cold video outreach, which is the same thing. It's just more like when somebody gets it, it's like more valuable, right? But just start by talking to people like this, one-on-one. Okay. And answer their questions and muddle your way through the minefield that is learning to like speak the language of your people. Right. Because I can tell you right now. So in my niche with doctors, I can tell you that they hate just the idea of getting leads. But when I say qualified or prepaid, like, hey, they're prepaying for their appointments, they're like, boop, all of a sudden that idea, I'm into it. Right. So probably the biggest problem, if you watch my VSL video, that means you know the structure, but what you don't have is you don't have the story. Okay. What's the right story? Because every person has a story in their head that's keeping them from achieving the next thing. Okay. So these are self-defeating prophecies. Like, if we think it's hard to get customers, if we think it's hard to get clients, it's only because we're not asking the right question. And the story in our head is like, oh, this is difficult, or, oh, I have to have some kind of fancy tool, or, oh, whatever it is. No, if you want to grow your business, pick out who your niche is, go through the irresistible offer checklist. And by doing that, you will get to know who the people are even better. And then you'll know what to say to them. Right. So roofers.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Continue, my bad. Sorry. I was going to say, go on to my.
I was just going to say, for roofers, I'd say something like, leads are great, but preset appointments are better. I'm not in that roofing niche, but I'm guessing, that's probably something that they would prefer to have.
That's spot on.
So that would be my offer. So, and then I'd go cold DM. I'd do what Alex Machuca did. I'd say, like, cold DM, hey, if you'd be interested in a pre-set up appointments for your roofing company, let me know. One sentence, boom, 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 tons a day, and you'll get people.
So that goes on to my next question. So what would be a good pricing point? So Go High Level is $497, and then UpHex is around $297. Then what would be like a good way to price that and then charge clients? Like, what would be a good price?
Pricing is very interesting. So your question is, what should I price my service at? And, you do have some overhead in your agency when you're using software. And the great thing about High Level and UpHex, I mean, if you look just at an overall business, it's the barrier to entry is super low. And the problem with that is that sometimes people like get in that shouldn't be getting in, because like voting with your wallet is a really good thing. Those who pay attention. All right. But pricing, don't think about it from your perspective. Okay. Because what your approach was, hey, I have this overhead. I have these costs when I invest in high level software, when I invest in UpHex, these are my costs. Don't think about it first from your perspective. Think about, who am I working with and what result am I getting for them? And what is that result worth? There you go. If you can demonstrate, and Rob Bailey, by the way, has a video on this exact thing, like with a formula on how to do this. I'm giving you the concept. You can go to his channel and get the actual formula. If you are working with a barber shop, okay, and their lifetime value, like they're a person coming in is like, hey, how many, I mean, you guys, no haircuts here. I don't know how to, what is a haircut like $20? I have no idea. How often do you get your haircut? Like 3 times a year or something? So is that $60 to $90 a year? So that means if you want to charge a barber for this service, I'm sure they would love it, but you can't charge them the same thing that you could charge, say, a solar company. Like solar, they do one deal and they make it off of the wattage or something that they sell. They're making $9 grand. So all things being equal, if you get that place 100 leads and they make $300, you get that place 100 leads and they make $300,000, you're going to price the service differently, right? Also understand this. When UpHex, before UpHex was available to other agencies, I was using UpHex in my own. So I was like the guy, the pioneer getting arrows in my back. And I had to price this to my niche. I started out at $297 because that's like the number everybody uses for a software. So I'm like, boink, no thoughts, $297. Let's see what happens. Boom, flies off the shelf. I'm like, okay, let's do $397. Boom, flies off the shelf. All right, let's do $497. Today I sell it for $697. Okay. I do it that way because my primary goal now is more like maintenance. The agency has its own strategy and it's doing its own thing. My focus is on being here with you guys, passing on what I know, sharing stuff like this. So, but if I wanted to go to 1,000 customers, if I wanted that agency to get to 1,000 customers, I probably just take it down to, with a good backend strategy, I'd probably take it down to like 197, right? I'd probably do something crazy like Alex Machuca. That's what he's doing. He's like 197 a month, but then he's got a cool strategy on the back end. I can't tell you guys everything he's doing, but he's going to blow it up. So that offer framework that I'm going to post in the group, use that, use your creativity, come up with an idea, throw a dart and see where it lands.